Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Daniel Hendrick Experience. I am super glad that you're here, and you're not going to believe who we have on the show today. This young woman's voice is absolutely astounding. And I've been watching videos of her, and not only is her voice incredible, but she is a hell of an actress, too. I saw a video of her and Salome hugging the head of this decapitated person and kissing it. And I'm like, not only is she beautiful, a great actress, but she brought this eroticism into it that was just profound. And I see why she's received great reviews from around the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we have Swedish soprano Elisabet Strid. She's considered one of today's leading dramatic sopranos. She has performed on some of the world's greatest stages, what a surprise, to incredible acclaim, and has specialized in the works of Wagner and Strauss. But there is without a doubt a role that has defined her career up until this point, and that's Sieglinde in Wagner's Die Walküre. The Swedish soprano began her international career as Sieglinde at the National Opera in 2006 and soon turned the heroine into her signature role, performing the role at such houses as the Lyric Opera of Chicago, beautiful opera house, Opera Leipzig, Gothenburg Opera, and the Deutsche Oper am Rhein. Critics have raved about her interpretation, calling it impressive, luxurious, and marvelous. They have also stated that she sang with a radiant, focused sound and poignant, expressive shadings. Next year, in 2024, she makes her debut as Cinta at the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden, London, and in 2025 at the Tokyo National Opera. Now, I could keep going and going, but her list of achievements are so long in performances that we'll just leave it there and say that she is easily an international superstar. And welcome to the show, Elisabet.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here.
I am honored that you're here. And what we try to do is to give our listeners a little bit of behind the scenes look at what it's like, in this case, in your life. How did you start this whole opera thing? Did you sing in church as a child, or what was it that brought you to this point of international acclaim?
Well, I did sing a lot at home actually, but then we did sing like folk songs, pop, a bit, jazzy tunes. My mother played the guitar, my father played the harmonica, and it was just nice to sing at home. And then I started in the what you say music gymnasium in my hometown, Malmö, and then I got the chance to try to sing a bit classical as well as I was 17. And I felt immediately, wow, this is the thing. And I felt that things happened from one lesson to another, and I started to think about this with opera a bit because I thought I always liked acting. What if I can sing and act at the same time? Wow, that would be so great. And they had this kind of opera ensemble in school where we got a chance to make different small scenes from different operas. And then I was totally catched, and I found an amateur opera group also in my hometown. And there I spent a lot of evenings during a lot of years making different roles just for fun. But I mean, this fire for opera was just getting bigger and bigger. And
In your soul, huh? It was in your soul. You just
it
felt
was
it
really
deeply.
in my soul. And I just felt one day, maybe. But you know, I didn't have this tradition of classical music in my family. So I'm like the first one who goes in that direction. So
Mm-hmm.
of course, my mother and father, they thought, oh, she has such a pretty voice, and of course she's talented, but maybe you should have something real to do, a real work. Like, I thought, okay, yes, probably. I don't guess I will be some kind of opera star, but I will try. But I thought, okay, I make something else. So I educated myself as a nurse. And I worked some years in a mental ward in a hospital with psychosis and schizophrenia.
Well,
that was really helpful, and that was great.
That prepared you. That prepares you to deal with tenors and conductors.
Yes, and stage directors. And crazy people in general. No, but I met so many interesting characters during that years, and that has really helped me in creating this more crazy roles, which I really love. I mean, I love the Salome character. It's really one of my favorite roles, and I think to see a lot of insanity is extremely helpful. And also, in general in life, it's good to have had a normal work, starting 7 o'clock in the morning and ending at 4, and then you appreciate this opera singer life so much more when it was like not meant to be in my case, but it happened, and I'm thankful every day. I think it's great to get the chance.
Wonderful. Well, you kind of got to the point of where I was going to go here in a moment. So let's go ahead and go there. I think this clip really shows the incredible singer that she has become. And hearing this, I think you're going to understand why Salome has become her favorite role. So, oh my goodness, that was absolutely glorious. What a beautiful, open throat, spacious laryngeal area that you have there. It's just so free, so open. Where did you learn how to do that?
Well, I have a wonderful singing teacher since I actually was 17-year-old. Her name is Karin, and she is an old opera singer and a wonderful teacher. And I'm actually meeting her tomorrow because now I'm working on my first Isolde, and it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with small details and so on. She's still the greatest support, and I'm very thankful.
Well, tell her I said she did a great job with you. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, she's happy. She's happy. She was with me when I, applied for opera school, like, I don't know what it is now, like 30 years ago or something like that. And she has been kind of with me all the way, and she's still giving me the greatest advices. And for her, it's so important that it stays beautiful. You should not try to sing more powerful than you actually can do in a natural way. And she's just caring for all these small details that easily can get lost when you start to sing the heavy repertoire. So it's so good to have ears and to have somebody who really tells you the truth.
That is super valuable. Yes. Yeah. Many singers have been pushed into rep that they weren't ready for, and then tried to sing too big and then paid the price later.
It's so easily made, but I mean, you have to take it step by step. And yeah.
Wonderful. And what town did you grow up in?
I grew up in Malmö, which is Sweden's third city, very close to Copenhagen. We have a bridge between Malmö and Copenhagen, so it's like the little sister of Copenhagen, Malmö.
Oh.
So we are very close connected in the Scandinavian, this down corner, in the south corner. So it's nice. And I actually made my debut in Copenhagen Opera House now in the spring, together with an American soprano, Lisa Lindström. uh, we made an electra together. So it was nice, and I could actually go home when I was free, like for one day. That was a great experience because usually I'm so far from home when I work.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really nice, and I also will make an Isolde there next spring. So that will also be wonderful.
Wow. And what is
Yeah,
about that role that you're finding fascinating?
the music is so magic. I mean, it's like going to another universe when
Yes.
you hear that incredible, beautiful music, especially in Act Two and also in Act Three. I mean, the whole piece is wonderful, but it's very long and it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of text, and it's not so easy text because it's like medieval German Wagnerian style. Sometimes he use words that actually not really exist. He has his own vocabulary somehow, and it takes time to really understand what does it really mean here, and of course that's a very important process also to really understand all the time, and then just to get it going in your brain that you don't have to think about the text all the time when you sing, when it just like flows out. So it's a long journey, and I have like 3.5 weeks left until I start my rehearsals for my
Wow.
debut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting process, and but I love the music so much, and it feels like it's sitting like right perfect in the voice. Just need to be careful with those places that you not give too much too early. It's always like that, but of
Mm-hmm.
course you must be more careful when it's such a long piece like Tristan and Isolde.
Mm.
It's good to survive until the lead is taught. I mean, it would be a pity to
Yes.
die before it. So,
Yes.
yeah.
A new friend of mine who has been on the podcast, Metropolitan Opera star for so many years, Alan Held, told me that one of his keys to singing for so many decades,
Yeah.
Wagner, was that he never tried to sing over the orchestra. He just tried to become one with the orchestra. Is
Yeah.
that something you sort of feel as well, or
Yeah.
how do you approach it?
I feel really that it's so important to find that beam in the voice, that clear sound that goes through the orchestra, to find that tone that is really penetrating without to get ugly. Um, and I mean, I'm in general a lyrical voice, but
Mm-hmm.
I have found this way of singing that actually goes through or also the bigger orchestras, and that makes it of course possible to take on these bigger roles also from a more lyrical view, but you just need to watch yourself all the time, because of course there is always, and when the music becomes so emotional and you just, it's easy to let go too much too quickly and too often,
Mm-hmm.
and you must save your energy in a good way. But I think in general in this repertoire it's so important to find that tone in your voice that without too much pushing really goes through. And
It.
when you have found that, it's great, and you can play with it, and you can sing beautiful, and you can sing, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can actually do everything if you catch that thing.
That thing.
Mm.
In the Italian rep and singing, they refer to that ingredient as squillo. Do you relate to it as squillo?
Yes, yes, squillo, laser beam, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
silver tone, whatever you want to call it, that is what you need, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's possible also with the most, I mean, you don't need to have the biggest voice in universe if you find that way of singing, and
Yes.
that's why I actually now can start to sing my, I mean, my biggest dream roles. And also, I
Yes.
mean, you also need to have that to sing a Salome, and a lot of other things. It
Mm.
saves your voice so much if you can rely on that squill of
Yes.
the voice.
I tell my students all the time, it's not about being loud. It's about having that point to the
Yeah,
voice that
yeah,
carries. And I give the example, if a baby is in the opera house and the baby cries, who do we hear? The baby.
yeah.
Not a big voice, but it has that
Right.
point that carries.
Exactly, exactly. And that is, I think that is so important to find. I mean, in general, for all rep, of course. I mean, not only for the big things, but yeah, it's just very, very important.
Well, no wonder you sound the way you sound after hearing all of these recordings of you. It's really, you are a maestra of the voice, that is for sure. I can hear your technique is really well put together and you're in command of it. And I can also tell by your vibrato that it stays consistent. And that's a sign, I think, of not forcing the instrument.
Yeah, that's why I'm really working to keep. I think it's so important to try to have like one voice, that you not sing with 10 different voices. And
Mm-hmm.
it's, if you find that like form for the voice, it's so much easier to express emotions and to play, but you always stay in that like line. You never lose. It's like a ballerina dancer on like a, what you call it, like a, those who are going on a thread in the air, whatever it's called.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You need to
Yes.
stay, you need to keep the balance on the line. But when you do that, you can make a lot of
It sounds like
circles.
the success to life.
Yeah, kind of.
Stay balanced, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Um.
in general, it's a good thing to do.
You probably don't know this about me, but early in my career, I lost my voice. I had what they call spasmodic dysphonia, and I lost the connection from my brain to my voice, and I sounded like a boy in puberty,
Oh God.
and it was very very painful for me. And I was at the Enrico Caruso competition in Italy when it happened. Well, to make a long story short, it took 8 years to get it back before I made my debut in Mephistopheles, Boito's Mephistopheles in Lincoln Center. Has anything happened disastrous to you along the way, or problems, or has it just been a pretty gradual process for you?
Yeah, I think I have been very lucky. Also, that I stayed with my healthy teacher from beginning until now, and she watched always out when something started to sound a bit strange, and I could manage it before it really became a big problem. And I
Mm,
also think it. I did sing the repertoire that was actually good for me, and I did it in a way that didn't harm me. Uh,
excellent.
because I mean, of course, you hear all the time, like, if you are a young singer, oh, don't sing Wagner, it will kill your voice and it will hurt you, and all these things. I mean, I also went to an audition when I was just graduated from opera school, and I knew I was going to sing my first Siglinde in Riga, and I thought, okay, I sing Du bist der Lenz. It feels great, and I went in there, and then one of this, like, it was some kind of opera director or somebody important, I don't even remember the name, told me, do not ever sing Wagner with your voice. And I was like, okay, but it
Mm-hmm.
feels really good. I mean, I had been working a lot on the Sinkelinde by then, and I just decided he's wrong, because I feel myself, I think it's so important to have this like singing intelligence somehow to correspond with your voice, and how does it feel? Does it feel well? Do I feel comfortable?
Mm.
Nobody else can really tell you. I mean, of course, if it sounds completely shitty, somebody has to tell you. But I, I mean, you have a feeling yourself if you really listen. I think what feels good, and where do you want to be as a musician? I felt as soon as I did hear Wagner, I felt completely in love. And I think it has to do that the Swedish language is actually not so far from the German. It's kind of the same
Feel.
melodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also the consonants, the vowels. It's all like it's quite similar. And I felt that the German music put the German text put my voice straight into that line. What I like the silver thread or whatever. And I feel sometimes when I try to sing Italian, I did sing some Italian roles, and I love Italian music and bel canto and everything. But I feel I start to make some strange things sometimes when I sing Italian repertoire, because then I think I must sing in another way, and then it becomes not my voice anymore. So I really think I found my path with the German music, and it brought me a lot of good things so far. So I think actually I was right.
I think you were, and that is really a lot of wisdom that you just passed on there to people. Stay within your own consciousness, what you know that feels right to you, and be
Yeah.
careful what other people tell you, because
Yeah.
you're going to have a million different interpretations of what you should be doing from other people.
It
I
is so.
remember I remember going to auditions at one time when I was singing in Lincoln Center. I would go to one audition, they say, "Oh, we would like you to sing Don Giovanni." I would go to another one, "Oh my gosh, you would make a perfect Otello." And I'm thinking in my mind, how can they be so absolutely opposite?
Yeah.
And that's why I think one has to do what you have demonstrated.
I think so too. Because in the opera school the last year, when we should start to prepare auditions, everybody told me, "You're the perfect Michaela. You can sing Countess, you can sing Leo." Of course, I could do it. I was not one of the best doing it, but generally I could do it. But I felt this is not what I really want to sing, and I started to sing Die Teure Halle and things like that. And also when I went to the auditions with that repertoire that I didn't really feel, this is not me, I didn't get any jobs. Then I started to sing Elsa, Elisabet, and Pang. It happened. And somebody
Amazing.
believed in me in the beginning and thought that let's give her a chance. And here we go. I mean, uh,
And
many years later.
those are the seeds to have a very, very long career. So kudos to you. Brava. As they say in Spanish, tú eres muy inteligente. You are very smart. That's a lot of information to process, information, intuition, knowing. It isn't just having a great voice, it's putting all of those pieces together.
It's a lot around, yes. It takes a lot to stand there. Yeah, it does.
So, for every one of these interviews, I do a lot of investigation into people, and I see in social media that people are looking at you and watching you. Can you tell us something that maybe your followers haven't known about you, that maybe they would like to hear, some inside story or information?
Mm. Should that be? In what field?
anything that you like.
Oh.
Like you're working in the mental hospital was kind of a cool story.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
nice.
thing, of course. Yeah, that's true. I'm quite open in social media. Actually, I
I
don't have
saw that. I
so
saw
many
that.
big secrets because I love my house, I love my garden, and when I'm home, I just love. I just spent 1 hour taking away like bad things from my flowers, and it brings me such a happiness. And I don't know what I should say. I
Okay, how
prefer animals instead of children. That I can say. I was never a child lover.
Well, now that my children are all grown up, so do I.
Yeah,
That's
but actually,
beautiful.
it fits my life well. Not to have children, so I think it was meant for me to go that
Excellent.
way. So
So, do you do any sort of like meditation or anything like that getting ready for a performance, or are you pretty well locked in?
I try to be quite normal because if I start to stress up too early, it's not good. I try to make like as normal things as possible. Uh, I I I met a Pilates teacher some years ago, and that has really brought me a lot. And there are many exercises that also it's good for building the stamina and as a warm up, which I have tried to do a lot in the last 2 years since I met her. And no, I mean thinking good thoughts, not to focus. And I have this kind of I always, before I walk on the stage, I think, what if this is the last time I sing this role? What if it's the last time I'm on the stage? I have to give everything, and that's what I
Mm-hmm.
really try to do always, and that brings something. It brings a intense emotional feeling, which I think is needed on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as a life or death, it's like go in there and like
Yes.
there
Well,
is no tomorrow.
we can.
Keep your silver line singing, but
Mm-hmm.
otherwise just give it all. And also when I sit as an audience, when I look at an opera performance or any performance, if I feel that people not really tear their heart out in the moment, I feel a bit like, why should I pay for this? Okay, pretty
Mm.
singing, but you need. I want. It's so important with the whole experience. You need to feel the person is that person on the stage, and it must be live. It must be real. It must like, yeah.
Mm. So
That's,
you keep a balance. You ride that line of vocal balance, but at the same
yeah,
time, your artistry, your acting, and your performance
yeah. I try to keep it
is
really on the limits, on the limits,
yes. I
and
see that.
of course in roles. That's why I love Salome because you can really push her to the complete
Mm-hmm.
craziness, and that is so. And I mean, after such a performance, I feel so relieved. I feel like heaven opens up, and I feel so empty, and it's like a cleaning of the whole mind and body after such a thing when you really give everything.
Yes.
And I know that the audience also they get something from such a performance.
Yes.
It
Well,
comes under the skin somehow, and I think it should be like that.
oh, wow. I wish more opera singers were like you. That's fantastic. The the ones that just kind of stand there and sing get a little bit boring to me, but I
It
love the
gets boring. And it's no
yes.
matter how pretty it is. It
Mm-hmm.
really it doesn't really touch you, and you should
Mm-hmm.
be touched by opera. I really think that I want to
Ab-
be touched by opera.
so tell me, speaking of that, who is the opera singer, the voice that touched you the most in your life?
Also, I'm extremely impressed by the way Birgit Nilsson did sing.
Mm-hmm.
She has always been like a guideline for me how to sing that repertoire because she sing with this thin. I mean, she's all the time staying on that line with her absolutely fantastic voice, of course, but she never tried to play a mezzo because she was a soprano, and she did sing everything just like it was a easy small song. She didn't try to
Mm-hmm.
make it like enormous and big. And she had
Mm-hmm.
that tone in her voice. I mean, she's the example of what I'm speaking about. And
Yes.
then you can like the voice or you cannot like the voice. And I'm too young. I did never see her on the stage. But when you hear recordings, she's so precise, and she really the study she has made of the roles before it's really
Mm.
pays off. It's very very correct what she's doing usually, and she has been a big inspiration when I listen to roles that I'm supposed to sing, and also if I have
Yes.
problem with a phrase, I think let's see how big it is doing it, and then
Ah.
you can hear okay that's how she maybe I can learn something from that.
Mm-hmm.
So And of course, we come from the same part of Sweden, from South Sweden, and I have been singing a lot in there is a beautiful Birgit Nilsson museum in the house where she actually was born and she lived her whole life. They made a wonderful museum, and it's such a lovely place. And I feel I met her one time, and it's such a great memory. And I really think she's to be praised in that repertoire for like forever. So
that's a good example to follow, and I think you're actually doing it. Beautiful. Great example. Now, I would be remiss being a tenor if I didn't ask you who your favorite tenor of all time was.
Oh God. Oh God, that's difficult. That's difficult. There are a lot of great ones, but I mean, I listen a lot to the German repertoire, and I think that Wolfgang Windgassen was a great singer in the German repertoire. Beautiful recordings. There are just a lot. I cannot really tell.
Does Fritz Wunderlich fall?
Birgit.
Does Fritz Wunderlich fall in there anywhere for you?
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, beautiful.
For me,
I always like the beautiful voices.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, and also keeping it within his own paradigm, not stretching out of that.
No, to keep the control, but within that control, make the most magic things. That's.
And how about Jussi Björling for you?
Yeah, beautiful, wonderful, of course. One of the Swedish big stars, side of Birgit Nilsson. Wonderful. Yeah.
Many years ago, in the time when I had lost my voice, I had a dream about him. And I went to this small village in Sweden, and in my dream, he was working in a just a little store. And I said, "You're Jussi Björling." No, I'm not. No. And he was hiding in the community as someone else, right? And I said, "Unless you give me a voice lesson, I'm going to tell everybody in the community who you are." And so in my dream, he gave me a voice lesson.
Wow. How was it?
It was fantastic. Right. He kept telling me I was singing too open. You have to close it. You have to close it. Which is what he did in his singing. It's just
I mean that exactly.
Perfect line all the way up and down.
Perfect line. Beautiful voice. Yeah, great.
So where do you see yourself 10 years from now? What do you see yourself singing then?
God. Well, I hope I can continue to sing the Isolde. I hope I can sing some Brünnhildes in the Ring. There are so many great parts. Also, when you become a bit older, I mean, Electra one day would, of course. I mean, I'm not sure I'm going there, but I mean, as a character, it's great.
Yes.
And I would just like to keep singing the best roles existing as long as I can. And I hope somebody will tell me when it sounds really horrible. If I don't hear it myself. There are so many examples of singers who not really have that feeling, and nobody really tells them, and you just feel, oh my God, why didn't you?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, usually
everybody.
When the wobble becomes...
No, exactly. And I mean, sooner or later, it does. And probably sooner when you sing that rep. So, I mean, just to be careful and try to sing as healthy as possible.
Yes.
And have enough breaks between the big roles, and that you can rest, I think. And in general, to be a happy person, trying to keep healthy.
There is success,
lucky.
Right? Right. Excellent. Yeah. So tell me, what is your favorite, has been your favorite opera house to sing in?
Oh, that's difficult to say. I was extremely happy when I was in Chicago for the Ring, for the Sieglinde. I loved Chicago. It was great. great time. Uh, it was an adventure in so many ways, like a new big city and a wonderful opera house, great colleagues, and this beautiful music. But I mean, it was also very special for me in Tel Aviv. I made a salon there. It was like kind of almost the spot where it actually happened, and that was really special too. And I have I love Oper Leipzig. I love Deutsche Oper am Rhein in Düsseldorf. I mean, these places have given me so many opportunities, and I'm so thankful because we all need
Mm.
a place to start and somebody who gives you the chance for new
Yes.
roles. And so I had also a great experience now in the spring singing Salome in Stockholm because I haven't been singing there
Mm.
really since I graduated, like a long time ago. So that was also great to come back to like the Swedish capital and to sing my absolute favorite role there. It was great. There are also many nice places. And also just before the war, I did sing a Salome in Bolshoi in Moscow. That was also a very special experience. It was a bit
Mm.
like, oh my God, you felt in the air something bad is going to happen. But I'm actually very happy I was there before it all happened because it was
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful opera house and it was a very interesting city. And I think now it's very difficult to go back there for a long time. So it was like the last minute to
Mm.
to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very interesting experience. Beautiful production too. So yeah.
Fantastic. And did you ever have a chance to sing with our mutual friend John Kais?
Yeah, we did work together in Tannhäuser in Oslo. It was my first Tannhäuser. It was 2010.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, and we had a great time together. And it's always great to sing with one of those really, great tenors.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
had a nice time. He was so friendly, and the first time you sing an opera like that, it's like, oh my God, should I really do this? Does it sound much enough? Do I sing pretty enough? Is everything okay? The first time for everything, it's kind of a bit scary. And he was so friendly and so nice, and it ended up in the best way.
How
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Wow. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about your life and your future before we start to wrap it up?
Well, um, I'm looking extremely much forward to this Solder now. I have pre-production in the next like 2 years, so I really get the chance to get her into my body and soul and voice. And
Mm.
now comes the first try, and I'm extremely excited. And then there are some other great, interesting things coming up in the future, which will be announced a bit
Mm.
later.
Well, I
So
hope some of those are recordings because it would be fantastic to hear some of these new roles on a full recording.
yeah, let's hope it would be it would be wonderful for me to have a memory of it. So
Yes.
yes, no, I'm happy. I feel extremely lucky to have get all these chances because, as I told from the beginning in the interview, I didn't expect anything from this opera singer life, and it feels like a big gift that I'm here where I am today, and I got the chance to make so many of the
Mm.
roles I did dream of, and there are still some to come. And it's
Yes.
life is great.
Uh,
I'm very happy.
I can
So
see that. I can feel it. And it is a gift that you're experiencing, but I also have to say you are a gift to all of us that get to hear your performances and those that get to see you live. It's you are able to transmit some deep ingredient that not a lot of opera singers have, and kudos to you for being that level of an artist. So brava.
Thank you so much. I do my best.
And,
Thank you.
and it's been an honor having you on today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have had the opportunity today to listen to the great Elisabet Strid. And I just want to thank you so much for being on my show. It's really an honor. And we're going to blast this all over everything so people can hear about you around the world. And hopefully you'll be here in the States more so that we can hear you over here more
I
frequently.
really do hope. I really do hope.
So fantastic.
Keeping
all right, ladies and
gentlemen.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for
there.
that.
Me too. I'll do it as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here on the Daniel Hendrick Experience. And for those of you who want to check out the podcast, just go to DanielHendrick.com and click on the little tab. And also there, when you're on the website, check out my book. It's called Know You Know. And it's about my journey as an opera singer, losing my voice and getting it back, and singing around the world, and the kind of inside scoop of the difficulties that can happen to opera singers. So
I would love to read that.
You know what, young lady? Send me your address and I will send you a copy of it. My compliments, of course.
Thank you.
So, folks, thanks again. God bless you all, and see you next time every Sunday at DanielHendrick.com. Take a breath.